Hi, everybody. This slideshow is about the chapter called Guiding Your Reader. And although the chapter is short, it has four important elements concerning how to write body paragraphs, how to write a thesis sentence, and how to write titles. And having read the chapter, you'll see that all of these ideas start with the letter T. So I called this Guiding Your Reader the four T's: titles, thesis statements, topic sentences, and transitions. So all of this comes after the introduction. We already talked about the introduction in the last PowerPoint, or you read that. I didn't narrate that PowerPoint, but that's all the information on introductions from the chapter. So now we're moving into the four T's. So the first T is titles. Okay, a title names the text. It provides clues to the purpose of the text. It should attract interest. And I needed to put this in here, having read all of your papers. Many of you wrote the words literacy narrative for the title of your last paper. And at least you had a title. It did tell us what your paper would be, but it didn't really clue us into the purpose of your text. So if you choose to write a simple title for this coming paper that you'll be working on, you still need to be specific enough. So if you write evaluation of the Microsoft Surface or review of Bath and Body Works, that will be fine. It'll be boring, but it's acceptable because it's specific. If you just write the word review or evaluation, though, for your title, then I won't know what you're reviewing, and then the title will be useless. And of course, you can also write a clever title if you prefer, or even a subtitle as shown in the chapter. So these are all possibilities for writing a title. Okay, a thesis statement. Now we're into, as I mentioned in the last slideshow on beginnings and endings, expository and persuasive writing. So with this kind of writing, you need a thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? A thesis is a statement that identifies the specific topic of your paper. It usually occurs as the last sentence of your introduction paragraph. That is where I will expect to find it, or at least near the end of your introduction. It is not the first sentence of your introduction. We already talked about how to create good introductions, and writing a thesis was not one of them. And here are other characteristics of a good thesis. It narrows the broad category into a specific topic and issue. It forecasts the themes or ideas or topics of your paper, and it is arguable rather than factual. So those are the three main things to remember when you think about a thesis. It narrows the category into a specific issue, it forecasts your paper, and it's arguable rather than factual. How to write a thesis. Do not use the words I, we, or you in the thesis. Although you can write those words occasionally and sparingly in a persuasive or expository essay, they should not be in the thesis. So don't start your thesis with the words I think or I believe. Don't write the thesis as a question. It's always a statement. Think about tension in a thesis. So the word tension literally means a balance between opposing forces in your paper or opposition between elements of your paper. So if there's tension in your thesis, we know that it's arguable, which is one of the characteristics of a good thesis. So I reproduced the thesis in the 4th edition book. I'm going to talk in another short presentation about the 5th edition review and the 4th edition review. But here, I just thought that this was a good example of the tension that I'm talking about in a thesis sentence. So the student who wrote this paper had a mixed review of the movie Juno, and here was her thesis. Although the situations Juno's characters find themselves in and their dialogue may be criticized as unrealistic, the film, written by Diablo Cody and directed by Jason Reitman, successfully portrays the emotions of a teen being shoved into maturity way too fast. So the tension comes with the word although, with the assertion that this author is making, as well as the final review, that it's successful in some ways and situationally and in terms of dialogue, it's less successful. What is a qualifier? Thesis sentence qualifiers are words or phrases that limit the strength of the thesis. You may wish to qualify your thesis. You don't have to qualify your thesis, but I would like you to know what a qualifier is in case you choose to do so. Why would you write a qualifier? The main reason is to reel in more members of your audience to agree to your assertions. A qualifier broadens the appeal of your thesis. And words such as may, probably, for the most part, often, quite, likely, perhaps, all of those are qualifiers. So here's an example of a qualified thesis. Regardless of what some politicians espouse, I didn't mean to cross that out, I meant to highlight it. Regardless of what some politicians espouse, mistreatment of many immigrants at the southern U.S. border does exist and must be stopped. So the words some and many are qualifiers. So let me highlight the qualifier definition again up here. What a qualifier is. Okay, next we move to the topic sentences, which is the third of the 3 T's. Remember, we had titles, we had thesis statement, and now we have topic sentences. And I like to call the topic sentence a miniature thesis statement, because what they do is they forecast what the body paragraph will be about. They're specifically about that body paragraph, and it states the subject and focus of that paragraph, just like a thesis does for the whole essay. Sometimes a topic sentence is the last sentence of a paragraph. Other times it links the prior paragraph to the next one. But the majority of topic sentences are at the beginning of the paragraph. So that's where, for the most part, you'll be writing your topic sentence as the first sentence of each body paragraph. And then finally, we have transitions. Transitions move a reader from thought to thought within paragraphs and between paragraphs. So sentence to sentence, paragraph to paragraph. Within sentences, all of those transitions occur. They make the essay flow smoothly. They also unify the essay and make it coherent. And finally, see the end of chapter 36, the Guiding Your Reader chapter, which has these 4 T's in it, for examples of transitions. And those examples are divided into different categories. So comparison, cause and effect, change in direction, opposition, relations, etc. So the word although is a transition. So is the word also. So is the word later. So is the word as a result. All of these suggest that we've moved from thought to thought. And transitions are very important to create that coherence in your essay. Okay, we've talked about the 4 T's in the Guiding Your Reader, and this was the last official chapter of this particular week of reading. Thanks. Bye-bye.